but it does introduce some things that honestly I didn't see coming, which I absolutely loved. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cinematically, the series where I talk about movies from past, current, whatever it may be that I may have missed for whatever reason. Now this one is kind of a unique one for Cinematically, probably the first of its kind really, that I've never really talked about. And this one is called Room, or it's also gone by The Room. Now it's not either of the rooms you're probably thinking of, either the one starring, I can't think of her name, Captain Marvel, who's Brie Larson, I believe. It's not that one. And it's not the one with Tommy Wiseau. It's neither of those. It's actually a Shudder original series. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Shudder is actually a series that is solely dedicated to horror. Now, I decided to give this service a try, as it is had like a trial period for Amazon Prime members. So I decided, why not give it a shot, see what's on there. Now, this one is exclusive to that particular platform. I'm sure you can maybe find it somewhere else. But it's exclusive to Shudder. It's an original. And it's a horror movie, as you probably assumed. And this one is very unique that I didn't expect. It's not really a horror movie, at least in my mind. It's more of a thriller or psychological type of movie. It stars Olga Kulinsky. I don't know exactly how you pronounce her name. And Kevin Jancis, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I can't pronounce the actors' names. I can't really pronounce the director's name. It's Christopher something. But nonetheless, I actually kind of enjoyed this movie a lot. Now, it was very unexpected. I actually watched it with my wife, her sister, and her husband, and I really didn't know what to expect. I saw the trailer. I thought it was an amazing concept, and I just felt like I would be definitely intrigued by it, and I was more than intrigued. I actually was very happy with most of the movie. Now, essentially the story of this one is it's this family moving into a house, very old house, which is pretty typical in horror, and they find a room that's very much hidden. And again, very typical of horror. And they decide to open it, and they discover that the room actually gives you things that you ask it for. So for example, if you ask for $1 million, this room will give you $1 million. If you ask for an original Van Gogh painting, they will get an original Van Gogh painting. However, there is a bit of a caveat that if it goes outside of the house, it essentially turns into dust. So it's only useful inside of the house. If you try and take it outside, you're basically left with what you got, which is nothing. So it's a very interesting concept. They purchased this house not knowing that this room exists. And so they have a bit of a checkered past, this couple, and they decide to start using the room for various things. And then they eventually ask, the woman does, for a child because of some of their past history. And the room gives them a child, which is not their own child. It's essentially the house. But it's very interesting in how that develops, how they're supposed to shelter the child. Is it a good thing to keep the child even around, even though it's not really theirs? There's a lot of different things at play into how this story unfolds. But I think this was probably one of the more interesting psychological thriller horror type of movies that I've seen in quite some time, with exception to some things like Ari Aster or Jordan Peele's work. This one definitely had me intrigued from start to finish, and the trailer had me hooked. So I definitely had to check it out. And my experience with watching this movie is it far exceeded my expectations. I did not expect it to be, well, at least in terms of what I think is good. I thought this was absolutely phenomenal. I had a great time watching it. It kind of kept me guessing for quite some time. And sort of the last third of this movie is where it really picks up. I didn't expect it to get this intense as it did, and to throw some curveballs at me. Again, I say this every single time, but if you know me and been on the channel for quite some time, you know that I love a good plot twist. This one does it a couple times, not necessarily game-changing plot twists that change your entire scope of what the movie is, but it does introduce some things that honestly I didn't see coming, which I absolutely loved. I highly recommend checking this one out. I pretty much gave you the plot as it was. There's really not a whole lot to delve into here. In terms of what I liked about it, if I had to pick out a couple of points, I feel like the acting was really good. I do feel like they're a little bit more on the European side, where it may not reflect and captivate a lot of audiences in terms of like worldwide, because I think it was very much done, I think in, I don't know if it was Belgium, France, and English, in terms of how it's the, I guess, parts are assembled. I think it was released in Belgium originally. I think the director may be French. I know Olga, the main woman, has been in a lot of things where I think she speaks either Ukrainian or Russian. There's a lot of different languages and backgrounds that are put into this movie. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think it might be difficult for some people to get into. They maybe find the acting isn't that great, but I think the acting was actually fairly well done. It introduces a story to these characters that can be pretty problematic in terms of what would you do? How would you use this power to the best of its ability? Would you even use it at all? So there's some interesting things. Don't know if you can really tell, but there's a picture over here in the back. That's actually the room and sort of its components that they dig out of the walls. There's just a bunch of wires everywhere. So the visuals of this movie I thought were fantastic. Absolutely stunning visuals. I think that has to have an A+, if anything. I just felt like it couldn't really take a look away from the movie in terms of what it was presenting to me and its ideas. Although it wasn't like amazing cinematography or anything like that, I still felt like it was visually compelling. You got to see some cool art. You got to see some cool visuals. The way the room is kind of set up at certain times. It's awesome, and I highly recommend that. If there's anything else though, acting good, visuals good. Just check it out if you have the opportunity. If you have Shudder, or if you have watched it already, make sure you let me know down in the comment section down below. If you don't have Shudder, if you can find a way to get it, or if you just want to do the 7-day free trial, there's also some really cool stuff on Shudder, especially with like Eli Roth doing like a history of horror. That's really awesome. There's some really cool content on there, but I highly recommend checking out The Room if you're able to do so. Again, if you have seen it, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I am doing a giveaway for when I hit 300 subscribers. We're not there yet. I still need a lot of help to try and get there. And the only way that I can get help is with you watching this video. So I hope you guys can subscribe. If you're not already, share it with your friends. Maybe they can get subscribed. I would greatly appreciate that. And I'm doing a giveaway, by the way, for a gift card for movies, movie website rather, where you can purchase digital movies that you can take on the go with you, watch on your phone, computer, TV, really whatever you want. It can connect to Vudu, Movies Anywhere, and iTunes, things like that. So I highly recommend checking out that giveaway video. I'll leave the link up in the corner. If you guys want to check that out, I would greatly appreciate that. As well as I'll leave the link up there for the other video where I discuss the website that I'm going to be doing the giveaway for. So I recommend checking out all those videos. Make sure you're subscribed as well, as I do have a new Cinematically Late every single Thursday. And I've got new videos all the time. I've got my U reviews. 1 is already out, 2 is upcoming. I've got my review for Umbrella Academy, maybe The Boys. I haven't decided yet if I'm doing that one yet. A couple other movie reviews, so make sure you guys are subscribed for all that great stuff. That's really all I have for now for The Room. Recommend checking it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next one.